Hey, welcome to Ken's Games Collection and a PlayStation 5 collections video for 2023. This is only the stuff that I picked up over the last 12 months. I do have another video up. I'll leave the link down below to that one. I didn't want to go through all that same stuff from last year. This is all brand new stuff that I collected over the last 12 months. So I really hope you enjoy this video. Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate. It's hard to believe, but I almost didn't get this title. I love the original Final Fantasy VII game on the PlayStation back in the day. It was such a massive news back then that after all those years, Square Enix was making games for the NES and Super NES, and all of a sudden with the release of the PlayStation, they jumped ship to release their most ambitious title back then. I can see why they did that because of the CD-ROM space on it, and they wanted to tell a story with cutscenes. It was phenomenal for us back in the day. We never experienced anything like it, and for them to do this remake, I don't know, I had my doubts because I thought it was sacrilege, but it turns out it was such a fantastic game. And it only goes up to when you leave Midgard, and I didn't know it was going to be part of, I guess, a trilogy now, so I'm looking forward to the next game. The intermission episode as well that was included in the PlayStation 5 version, absolutely love that as well, and it's one of those games that I just couldn't put down, and I just wanted to see it through to the end. And I am so hyped for the next Final Fantasy VII game that's going to be released, even more so than Final Fantasy 16. So that says something, and this game means so much to a lot of us that played it back in the day, and it's just incredible. Now, I almost didn't get Guardians of the Galaxy, mainly because of the Marvel Avengers game that was online with all these microtransactions. That kind of soured a lot of people. And I guess a lot of people thought that this was going to be similar. It's going to have online only and all of these microtransactions. It has none of that. It is a single player game played offline, and it's fantastic. And I love the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. And I was thinking, how is Star-Lord going to go? Because we had Chris Pratt, who's done a great job. But I think the way Star-Lord looks in this game and the voice acting in this is incredible. The storytelling is so good as well. The environments, the just the way the game looks, and it's just a fantastic game to have in your collection. And if you've been sitting on the fence about this one because of you may have been burnt with Marvel Avengers, then don't have any hesitations picking this game up. It's not like that at all, and unfortunately a lot of people have not picked this title up because of Marvel Avengers. It's really sad, but this is fantastic. Okay, so with Tales of Arise, I have not played much of it. I did install it on the PlayStation 5, had a bit of a look at it when I first got this game. I think I got it for about $24. That's why I pounced on it when it was going really cheap. But seriously, I haven't really played much of this game. I think there's some other Tales games in the series, I believe, that I do own and I have played. So one day, hopefully, I can sit down and play it. But graphically, it looks good. The art style looks great. So to get back into these sort of RPGs, I guess with Final Fantasy VII Remake was the one that did it for me. And that's why you're going to see in this video, there's some RPGs, because Final Fantasy VII really has got me back into that genre. Look, I've always been a fan of the Shantae games, and this game is a fantastic platform game from Way Forward. I love this sort of style of game, and it's not something that you see a lot of these days. The hand-drawn graphics, the 2D style of game, everybody's gone 3D. It's only the smaller indie developers that's doing this sort of stuff, and Way Forward have always done a fantastic job balancing the platforming games with the Shantae series. It's just unfortunate that a lot of the times it's only released on Limited Run Games website. There are some of the Shantae games that have been given a general release, but overall a lot of it is limited run, which I really think it needs to be more general releases for the public to be able to go out and pick up a physical version of these games. But having said that, this series is fantastic, and I can't wait until we get a new Shantae game. With Tormented Souls, I guess the best way for me to describe this is you go back to the original Resident Evil game on the PlayStation with those fixed camera angles, that tank sort of style of controls, limited ammo, limited save points, and you get a fair idea of what this game is. It is a great game. It starts out with a very graphic opening. I won't spoil it, but it is pretty graphic. The game a few times has scared me. It freaks me out sometimes. The sound effects in this game is fantastic. It's a game that a lot of people wouldn't know about, and it's really hard to find in store. I had to pick this up from, I think it was Oz Game Shop over in the UK. I enjoyed this game. It's not a very long game, but it is very much in the style of old Resident Evil, but it's done way better than that. So if you're into your horror games like that, definitely give this one a try. It's really worth it. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection. Now this is crazy. I'm filming this in May 2023, and we are at the 7th year anniversary of Uncharted 4. It's just insane to think it's been 7 years since that game came out, and it was such a great game. Tied up the Nathan Drake storyline. Kind of bittersweet for me because I always want more Uncharted games with Nathan Drake as the main character. He's just a popular character. I think Naughty Dog's Sam Druckmann has stated that there's not going to be another Naughty Dog game with Uncharted. That doesn't mean that Sony could farm it out to another studio in their arsenal, I guess, but I don't know if they would do that. Kind of think that if they did do that, it would be Nathan Drake's daughter as the main character, and I guess Nate could be like a mentor. Uncharted Lost Legacy started out as DLC for Uncharted 4, but I think it was early on in development they realized that this could be a standalone adventure game with Nadine and Chloe. Now, I resisted getting this for a long time because it didn't have Nathan Drake in it, and I was kind of narrow-minded thinking that way. Eventually, I would get it when it was at a good price, and I absolutely love this game, and it left me open to the possibilities of more games in the Uncharted series with those characters. Unfortunately, it hasn't happened yet. I don't know what Naughty Dog is doing, to be honest with you. We're at 2.5 years of the life cycle of the PlayStation 5, and we've seen nothing from Naughty Dog. We've seen a remaster of Last of Us or whatever it was, and that's pretty much it. We haven't seen any new games, which is really odd. They always have something out within the first 2 years or even the first year of the release of a new console, but this was a fantastic game. Loved it. I would love to see more games with Nadine and Chloe. Look, I gotta be honest, the Alan Wake remaster I'm not really into. I do have it on the Xbox 360 back in the day. Apparently this remaster is in 4K visuals, enhanced cutscenes, which I really don't see that in the cutscenes. It looks very similar to the Xbox 360 version, and yeah, it's a game that a lot of people do like, but for me, this remaster didn't really do it for me. I don't think this remaster itself made any money back. I still don't know if there's going to be an Alan Wake 2. I know that's what they were trying to do, but only time will tell. If you like the medieval games, you're definitely going to like Pumpkin Jack. What's really surprising about this, it was made by mainly one person. And this just goes to show where we're at in 2022, 2023 when this game was released. Just incredible to think that one person has made something that's really polished, looks like a AA title, and for me, it is way better than the medieval remake that we got. And I love those medieval games, but to me, this was fantastic. I just can't get over the fact that mainly one person worked on this thing. So I start playing Horizon Forbidden West. I'm probably about 3 hours into it, and then I realize I haven't finished Zero Dawn. And I stopped playing this one immediately, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to get into Zero Dawn to play that one. And then I see on the internet that they may be doing a remaster of that, which would be amazing because Forbidden West, what I played of it, looks spectacular. The vistas in it is just incredible. So I've stopped playing this game altogether because I'm holding out hope, I guess, for the remaster of Zero Dawn, and I have played up until I think about 5 or 6 hours of that game on the PS4 back in the day, and that was when my PS4 actually started doing weird sounds, and I got the latest model that came out, and that was it for me. I never went back to it, but I need to get back into the series. You know, it's funny. I said to myself I was never going to play another Assassin's Creed game, and I don't know. It was a crazy time. I was just over this sort of style of game. I think Syndicate and Unity really soured my palette for the Assassin's Creed games. But here we are with the PlayStation 5. I'm looking for games to play. Saw this going really cheap. I thought, okay, I saw the reviews. I've seen people saying it's great, others saying it's bloated, it's just too long. I took a chance with it. I was about 5 hours in before it really got me really involved into it. The first 5 hours was really odd for me. I don't know why, but I just felt like I wasn't sure if this was something that I liked. But after that 5 hours, I was hooked on this game. I put probably well over, I think 103 hours into it, and I never planned to do that, but I was having so much fun doing all the raids on the villages and towns and all that sort of stuff, and I played as a female character. I thought this was great. So I finished this game, and what do? I go and get Assassin's Creed Origins, play that because I love Egypt, and I get through that pretty quickly, probably about 30 odd hours into that one. Really enjoyed the whole progression system in it. I thought it was great, and I am now working my way through Odyssey. So I guess you can say Assassin's Creed Valhalla is the game that got me back into the Assassin's Creed games, and it's amazing. Cannot wait until we see Mirage, hopefully in 2024. So I'm looking forward to that one. But this one, yeah, it really did surprise me. And sometimes I look at reviews and stuff, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going off what people are saying. Then I hear word of mouth saying this is a fantastic game. And yes, it is a fantastic game. Yes, it is a long game. But it's as long as you want it to be. If you wanted to try and complete this probably in 40 or 50 hours, you probably could. But I was invested in the story and the characters and just the exploration of Valhalla, and I loved it. Shantae Half Hero Genie or Half Genie Hero, I don't know what it's called, but it's a fantastic platform game from Way Forward. They always do great games, like I said before. I probably prefer this one more so than Risky's Revenge, just because of the graphical style of that one compared to this one. This one looks really amazing, hand-drawn graphics. So not much really I want to talk about this game. It's just a fantastic platforming game. If you were to tell me a few years ago that we would get a remake of Wonder Boy 3 The Dragon's Trap, the very first video game that I owned, I still got it in the collection now, I thought, I probably think that you're crazy. That's not going to happen. But it did happen. .emu did an amazing job with this game, Lizard Cube, a fantastic remake of a classic game on the Sega Master System. I do love the fact that you can push a button and go back to the old 8-bit style of gameplay, but the modern graphics, hand-drawn graphics is incredible, and it's just as I remember it, and just the visual enhancements and the sound, the music, and everything is just great, and it's just, for me, a trip down memory lane. This is the game that started this whole thing for me, so it is a very special place in my heart. This is a fantastic game, old school. Very early Metroidvania as well, because you have to backtrack with different characters. It's an incredible game. I just love it, and so happy to have this in the collection. Eva Ford is a great puzzle platform game, very heavy on the puzzle, and you will get tripped up a few times with these puzzles. Now, it's a fantastic game made by a small development team. I do have a problem with this on the PlayStation 5, and it is for the fact that it is a broken game graphically. There's some weird things going on later on in this game with just things going off the screen into the distance, and it's just a shame that the developer said that they weren't going to patch it, which is pretty piss poor, considering that we pay money for these games, and yeah, really something that needs a bit of attention done to some glitches. And to have a developer said, no, we're not going to patch it. So it's a nice puzzle platform game, but just be aware, as you can see here on the video, there is some weird shit going on in it, and it's just I don't know. Here we are in 2023. We're seeing a lot of first-party developer games getting released. Redfall is a perfect example. Can't even run at 60 frames per second. A really boring bullshit game, and I'm just sick of seeing the big AAA studios releasing broken games, and even more so with smaller studios that won't take the time to actually fix something. It's just really disappointing. It is a great puzzle platform game, but just be aware of the glitches in it. What I really like about this Cowabunga collection is including a lot of the stuff from consoles I never owned or never played the games on, from the NES to the Game Boy. I know back in the day those Ninja Turtle games were so popular on the NES, and as somebody who owned a Sega Master System, I kind of was jealous because we didn't get those games. I just imagine if we could have got the Ninja Turtles games on the Master System, they would have looked fantastic, way better than the NES stuff. Sorry, but it's true. But this is a great collection, and the standout one for me is Turtles in Time. There is the arcade one, which I played back in the day, but the Super Nintendo version is the one. It's the game that it's my go-to game, pretty much. And this is a great collection from Konami, so I'm really happy that we have a Cowabunga collection. Now, Scarlet Nexus, I played this on Game Pass back in the day when it first came out, and I liked it, but I was playing a lot of RPGs back then. Maybe I was playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, so it was always on my wish list to get it. I did get it for $22, brand new, which is a great price, by the way. So I have not delved into this one. It's on my backlist. I've got a big backlist now of PS5 games. I started out pretty good playing a lot of them, but it's over time, it's just I'm buying more than I'm finishing, so that's not a good thing. But I do plan to get into this one day, hopefully soon. Again, I like the art style in this one. So yeah, I can't wait to give this one a go. Now, Valkyrie Elysium is based on a game. I think it was on the original PlayStation. I think it was, and I don't remember it. I picked this one up cheap. I have finished it. I like it. It's not something like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta. It's similar, but it could have been a bit more polished, I guess. But I do enjoy the voice acting, the art style. You are backtracking a lot in this game to the similar looking settings, I guess, but I think I paid $40 for it. You can't go wrong, and it's a bit of a hack and slash. A good job from Square Enix to actually take a chance to release this game. Back in 1990, Secret of Monkey Island was released, and it was a fantastic game on PC that I really wanted, and it wasn't until a few years later that I would pick it up on the Amiga 500, and here we are all those decades later with a brand new Monkey Island game, Return to Monkey Island. I don't mind the art style in this one. I know when Ron Gilbert showed off some of the gameplay for it, a lot of people were so critical of the art style of this game, and it's pretty unfair. It's always been a fantastic series, and they needed to do something different with it, I feel. And I thought the change of art style was a perfect way to present a new Monkey Island game all those years later. Fantastic game. Only so far I think it's been available to purchase on limited run games, so I just wish this would have got a general physical release instead of limited run games again. One of my favorite games of the PlayStation 5 era has been A Plague's Tale: Innocence. That game came out of nowhere with very little fanfare, under the radar, and was such an amazing game, telling of the story of Alicia and Hugo. And I just love the dynamics of the brother and sister story, and it carries over into this one. You really need to play the first one to get that feel to it. So Requiem is an amazing game. It feels like a AAA title. It takes it to a whole new level. I did see some reviews saying that it was better when it was like a AA title with the first game, but I think this was fantastic. I love how the story goes, and you find your characters, especially Alicia, asking herself why is she doing what she is doing in this game. And the ending to it, I won't spoil it for anybody, but man, I've never played a game where it just ripped at me with the ending. It was just fantastic. I don't know if there's going to be another game in this series. If there is, it'd be great. But this, from start to finish, had me so hooked, and I just wanted to keep playing it. And it's about 20 hours long. They just released a new patch. I think it's for 60 frames per second up to 4K or whatever it is. And this is months and months after it's been released, but a fantastic game. Land Wonderwall is a really interesting game. The history of it, Yuki Naka worked on it with Square Enix. He was let go by Square Enix, I think 6 months before this game was released. He took them to court. He was saying that this is not a true representation of his final vision, what was released with this product, and he wanted to work on it more to try and polish it. I think you would probably need to work a year on it to get it to the stage he wanted, but I think Square Enix just wanted to get it out there and get rid of it. I don't mind Balan Wonderworld. I can see similarities to Nights in the Dreams, even Sonic the Hedgehog in this game because of Yuki Naka's connection. But I did enjoy it, but a lot of people out there in YouTube, a lot of the reviewers hate it. A lot of people really hate this game. But, I enjoy it. I guess I'm from that era where I was a massive fan of Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic Team and all that sort of stuff. And I just enjoyed what Yuki Naka always worked on. Yeah, it's divided a lot of people out there, but I do enjoy it. Okay, so after I finished Final Fantasy VII, I started waiting for Crisis Core to drop in price. As soon as it did drop in price, I picked it up. I've never played it on the PlayStation Portable, and I'm kind of tempted to try and hunt down a copy of it and just to see how close it is to the PSP version. I really enjoy this game. The game mechanics is very similar to Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's not turn-based, it's all real-time action. I think this is a really good fit for Square Enix in the modern era. I think turn-based RPGs probably on the way out from what I've seen lately, although there's still some out there, but I just feel like live action, getting into it, hack and slash is working out really fine for me. I know for a lot of pure RPG fans out there, they miss the turn-based stuff, but I really enjoy this. Cutscenes are great. I'm getting to understand the story of Zack, and I think it was at the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake when we see Cloud and Zack sort of cross paths, but it's in different dimensions or whatever it was, and I'm hoping we're going to see a bit more of Zack's in the next Final Fantasy VII game. That's coming out soon, I hope, but I really enjoyed it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge is a fantastic pixel game. I really enjoyed this one, and it does take me back to the days when I used to play Turtles in Time, which is definitely one of my favorite turtle games and one of my favorite games on the Super Nintendo. This is a lot of fun to play. I've been playing this game with my daughter, and she's having a blast playing this style of stuff. And we actually played on, I think it was the PlayStation 4 Streets of Rage as well. So yeah, it's a great party game, up to 4 players, I believe. I really like this one because it did get a physical release, not by limited run. I'm talking about this a bit, but I don't like how limited run has the releases and then all of a sudden we see a general release. So I held off. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I was able to pick this one up on the PlayStation 5. It's really hard to get here in Australia for some reason. Even on the PlayStation 4 version, I don't know why that is. It's just I don't know. It's just crazy to see games like this get limited releases over here, and it's hard to track down copies, and that's why they end up so expensive on eBay or on Facebook Marketplace and stuff like this. But this is a fantastic game, great for all of us Turtle fans. Devil May Cry 5, the special edition on the PlayStation 5. I haven't played it yet. I haven't played a Devil May Cry game going back to, I guess, the PlayStation 2 era. So it shows how long this series has been around. I can't wait to sit down one day, hopefully, and start playing it. I do believe it has all the bells and whistles for the PlayStation 5, 60 frames per second, 4K graphic upgrade, I think it was as well. So one day I will sit down and play this one. Now here's a really odd game from China. This is like the 7th game in the series, which is been going on for like 20 years, I think more so on PC. And it wasn't until I saw Digital Foundry do like a review and demo, a tech demo of Sword and Fairy Together Forever. And it is very much like a Final Fantasy game, live action, hack and slash, not all turn based. It all is in Chinese dialogue with English subtitles. I do find that certain points of the cutscenes that the Chinese speaking that's matching the English subtitles is going a little bit too fast. But the overall presentation, the gameplay, graphics, Mythology from China is a really great package. And if you can hunt this one down, if you like something a little bit different, this is something to try out. It does play very much like the Final Fantasy VII remake. It's pretty decent. Okay, with Lake, this is a game I haven't played. I was intrigued by it for a while. I looked on Metacritic. The scores were pretty decent for a game that I think I picked up for about $29. And I like the story because you play as a character named Meredith Weiss. She's returned to her hometown to deliver mail of all things. So it's one of these chilled out games where you just drive around town delivering mail, talking to the townsfolk, and there's probably side quests going on there, plot points with stories. I think it's about a 6-hour game. I haven't really played it, but that's the synopsis I know about it. Okay, so I have to say I love the very first Life is Strange game. I just love the storytelling. The characters in it was really great, and the music. I really love that kind of indie style music as well. Everything about it was fantastic. I didn't pick up Life is Strange 2. I did hear some negative reviews on it, and I didn't get that for that reason. With Life is Strange True Colors, I've heard some really great things about it. It's kind of returns to the first game with the storytelling, I'm guessing. I haven't had a chance to play this one yet. I picked it up really cheap actually, so I'm always on the lookout for bargains for PlayStation 5 games, which is really hard these days. Especially you're not going to see AAA titles drop down for a long time, but this was only about $24, so I can't wait to dive into this one. You know, I have to say I've always loved indie games, more so over the AAA titles because they're big, bloated. Sometimes it's great to play something that's only a couple of hours long. This game, Greek Memories of Azia, is about 6 or 7 hours long, I believe. It's got some really good scores on Steam, 9 out of 10. I haven't really had a chance to play this one properly. It's a hand-drawn 2D platforming game where you play as one of 3 siblings in this game. So I really enjoy the old school 2D platforming games, and this is what it is. If you can find it cheap like I did, it's definitely something worth having in the collection. Unbound Worlds Apart is a puzzle platform game published and developed by Alien Pixel Studios. It's a 2D puzzle platforming game, very heavily on puzzle. I've only put about 45 minutes into this game because something else came in the mail and I started playing that, so I really can't comment too much on it. But I do enjoy, again, I talk about the indie studios and what they present for the PlayStation 5. And I've always loved this sort of stuff. It's old school platforming. Let's be honest, when have you played a Lego game that was not great? I own a lot of Lego games in this collection, and I've always found them to be a quality product. And this is phenomenal. There's about 20 hours plus in Skywalker Saga, episodes 1 through to 9. It's really interesting. When I first saw this release, I looked at some reviews, and I found reviewers were saying that the storytelling in episodes 7 till 9 is better storytelling in these games than the actual movies. So that's saying something that the developers were able to expand on, I guess, the limited stories that they were presented with from those movies, which I dread. You know, I still dread to this day when Rey says that she's a Skywalker. It just does my head in. But this is a great game. There is another version of this. I bought this, and would you know it, 2 weeks later, there's another version with a lot of DLC, which was included in it, characters. So kind of bummed out that I didn't wait a little bit longer, but it's a smart marketing ploy on Disney's side of it, I guess, to do that. They would have, had this all planned out for a long time. But this is a great game. Now, I got Control, the Ultimate Edition, because it included all the DLC. It's a game that I've been wanting to get for a while. I was thinking about getting on the PlayStation 4, then I held out to get it on the PS5. So it's got all the bells and whistles, 60 frames per second, ray tracing, 4K graphics. It's a really interesting game, I feel, and it kind of reminds me of a game I used to play on the original Xbox, Psychops. It has that sort of kinetic energy feel to it, with your character being able to lift things and do things with the environments around it. I'm enjoying the story in this one. I started playing it. I probably got 2 hours into it. Then I got sidetracked on to the next game I want to talk about, Gotham Knights by Warner Brother Games Montreal. Now, I know when this game came out, there was a lot of talk. Wasn't able to hit 30 frames per second. That's pretty bad for next-gen consoles. We expect more from developers. Unfortunately, they weren't able to deliver when this game was released. They have patched it. I was able to pick this up for $9, and I'm glad I waited to get it that cheap. I probably would never have picked it up if it was $9, but I did the update, and I've had no issues with the game. It's pretty unfair to compare this to the Rocksteady games. They are such a different game altogether. With Rocksteady games did a phenomenal job with their trilogy of Batman games, and I am enjoying Gotham Knights more than I thought I would. For $9, you can't go wrong. And playing as Batgirl, there's been a lot of DLC added recently, which is good to see that Warner Brother Games Montreal is still working this game, trying to improve it, and I've had a lot of fun with it. For $9, you can't go wrong. And Forspoken, yet another broken game. Apparently at launch, there's been a lot of patches. There's just been some DLC released for this game. Luminous Productions doesn't exist anymore. They've been absorbed back into Square Enix. This was their first game. It was made for the PlayStation 5. I remember seeing this 2 years ago, and I was like, oh my god, I want to get this game. When it came out, I saw the reviews. It's one of the worst games of the year, this, that, and the other thing. And honestly, I saw this going cheap, and I picked it up. I thought, if I didn't like it, I can always take it back. So it's a game it's really weird, because the first few hours is where you're going to lose a lot of people from not wanting to go any further in this game, because it does take a while to find its groove. But once it does, I am enjoying this a lot, which is weird because everybody else out there is saying it's a heap of crap and a heap of shit and all this sort of stuff. But I'm actually having fun with it, and I will probably get the DLC for it. It's a game that you really need to invest 4 to 5 hours in, to be honest with you, before it becomes, I guess, before you get it, and it just becomes something completely different. And the exploration in this game is great. The environments are really cool. The interaction between the main character Frey and this bracelet called Cuff kind of reminds me of Iron Man and Jarvis. Cuff is like a bracelet that's on Frey's arm, and it talks to her, and there's a lot of banter going on, and Frey swears a lot in this game as well. And when I hear the Cuff talking, it kind of reminds me of Jarvis from Iron Man. But it's a game that I am having more fun with than I thought I would. Okay, that was a long video. Hopefully you stuck around right to the end, and if you did, I appreciate that. It was a long video. So yeah, that's what I picked up over the last 12 months. Let's see what happens in the next 12 months. There's a lot of great games coming out. There's a lot of games that was not on this list because I'm waiting for them to drop in price. Hopefully soon that'll happen. So please don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you very much for watching this video.